Hi everyone! Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Today we are going to be building a Grandma's Cottage in the world of Henford on Bagley. This is the world that we got with the Cottage Living expansion pack. The build includes a cute little garden shed, and then in the house there are 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. There is a bedroom for a grandma, a teen, and an infant. While I was building, I was thinking of a storyline for the Sims who were going to live here, and I knew I wanted to make it very homey and rustic. I do use CC in this build, but very limited. I, as I'm still new to building, I'm very used to, building with CC, so I want to build with CC, but I know that CC isn't, um, not everybody can use CC, so I am slowly but surely making my way and becoming more comfortable using just in-game items. So hopefully will get out a video that has just in-game items, but for right now I'm still building with CC because that is in my comfort zone. But anyways, getting back to the storyline, I imagine that a widowed grandmother lives here and she takes care of her 2 grandchildren. I was thinking it was possible that the mother lives in the city and can't afford like a large enough apartment for her and her children, so her children live with the grandmother out in Henford on Bagley. And I would like to imagine that the mother thinks that this is better for her children because she was raised here in Henford on Bagley and thinks it's important that her children grow up in like a smaller town rather than in like the big city. But getting on and talking a little bit more about the build, as you can see, I've already built like the main structures and I did the roofing, adding in some windows. And yeah, these windows are from the Coastal Collection by Harry, and I just think that they fit the vibe of this house very well. Um, Off camera, I did go in and see if I wanted to add some shutters, but I just wasn't loving how it looked, so I decided to just stick with what I had. But anyways, as you can see, I'm going in with some stairs, trying to find a railing color that like matched the house, but wasn't too matchy. But anyways, yeah, there's 2 entrances into the house, like the main house. There's one that goes into like the main like living room area, the entryway, and then there's one that goes into the kitchen. So right now you can see I've come in and I'm trying to just work on the floor plan. I did raise the platform of like the kitchen a little bit higher, and since I did want this build to be like kind of a rustic feeling, I did add in like those wood or like timber like columns, I guess you could say. But yes, I'm just going in with the stairs, replacing the windows, and yeah, I'm upstairs now trying to figure out a um floor plan that I would like. So I'll get more into it like when I get into like of the build like of for their rooms. But there is the grandma's room, the teens room, and an infant's room. The infant's room is pretty like I would say gender neutral. It's not very like it's not decorated quite for like a specific it's not like super pink or like super blue or purple, kind of like when you walk in it could be for either gender, whatever gender you would like. But the teens room, I did target it for more of like a teenage girl. But, you could go in, change it, see what you would like to do if you wanted the sim to be a boy. Or whatever you would like. Anyways, I'm going back into the back of the build and I wanted like a little awning portion. I was looking at a picture of on Pinterest for inspiration. I'll go ahead and pop it up on the screen now so you can take a little look of what I was looking at. But in the back of like in the picture, there's like a little awning in the back, and I loved that idea, and I think it fit really well. But I'm just going in with some terrain paint, trying to like make it obvious of like where the paths are, and then I'm just adding in some dirt where I think I might want to add like flowers and stuff. But I come in with this ivy, and I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to, you know, if I wanted ivy on the build. If not, I feel like ivy on houses really matches like the Henford on Bagley like aesthetic, if that makes sense. So I was trying to add in some ivy and make it look nice, but I did add, there was a few that I did end up taking out. But I'm just using the tool mod to lower it down to make it look more natural. And yeah, so that I think that's one of the main ones I took out. That was right over the doorway because it looked a little funny in my head. So I'm just adding those like little ivy ladders to like the garden shed yeah, the garden shed. That's what I'm gonna call it from now on. But I am just going in with the landscaping. I wanted to match the landscaping of like the surrounding areas. So I don't know. I just always pull out a bunch of different like landscaping items to see if I like how they look together. And then I just start placing things everywhere. But yeah, I like the more full garden look. I mentioned this in my last video that I like it when the gardens look full and nice and yeah. So as this is a build that goes, it's bigger left to right than it is front to back. There isn't much of like a back garden. It's more of like a front and side garden. But yeah, um, I did want to mention that kind of going back and talking a little bit more about the storyline and the Sims who I could imagine living here. I imagine that this grandmother loves to garden and she has some chicken coop. She has one chicken coop, and I did place some chickens in there. If you want to get rid of the chicken coop or replace the chickens for what I have when you if you download this on Patreon, um, yeah, you can totally remove the chickens. And then I do add some planters. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I know, I'm sorry, but I'm excited about this build. I'm so proud of it, and I just am so excited to talk about it. So, there is some like large crop, um, plots, I guess you would call them, over by that tree, that I'm currently working by, and then over on the left side toward the like awning structure. Um, there are some planters over there as well. But yeah, I'm just going in with this um the debug fence, I believe. And I wasn't quite sure how I wanted it to look in the back. I was like, so so I just go in and I was thought maybe I could make it so it like connects to the wall of the garden shed, but then I was like, hmm, I don't know, it looks kind of silly, but I just left it for now, and I was like, oh, I'll come back to it if I want. But I'm just going in, adding in some outdoor lighting, and I don't know why, but it was being like so finicky while I was trying to add those lights on the walls. I wasn't quite sure why, but yeah, here I go again with the fencing, just trying to adjust it, make it how I want it to look. And yeah, um, I did want to mention that, like I kind of said before, I'm wanting to build with more like in-game pack items. I would like to know if that's something you guys would be interested in. I mean, I love building with CC. I think it just elevates the game so much. But I do understand that it's not as accessible to everyone, and I'm wanting to, include everyone in my channel, in my little corner on the internet. I don't want it to be just for PC players, but if I don't put it on the gallery. Well, I guess so that's the kind of the thing. I don't put my builds like public on the gallery because I haven't updated my game in like probably 6 months. Um, and I'm scared to update my game because all of my mods will be broken. And I just do not want to deal with it. So, yeah, that's kind of why I don't put it up on the gallery, I play offline. So, yeah, unfortunately. um, that's why I go the Patreon route. But yeah, leave a comment in just leave a comment down below and letting me know. Are we happy with like the custom content builds, or are we wanting more just in-game item builds? Because I am definitely willing to go out of my comfort zone and try and build a, house or a community lot. Also, yeah, let me know in the description box. The description box. Let me know in the comments if that is something like what you prefer to see. Do you prefer like house builds, or do you prefer like community lots? Because I love to build community lots, and I know that's kind of like odd. A lot of the builders that I watch on YouTube or like follow, they don't love building community lots. They definitely prefer houses, which I can definitely understand. But I'm definitely a community lot girly. Like, I love to build on community lots. So, yeah, let me know in the comments if one, you would prefer, if you like the CC builds, or you would prefer in game items, and two, if you want more house builds or community lot builds. I would love to know so I can build what you guys are wanting me to build rather than, I want to build what I want to build, but I would love to know what you guys would like to see. But, anyways, in the garden, on like the right side, you could see that I placed down the little bunny rabbit thing, so your little bunnies will come and help you with your garden. And then I also placed down the birds, which I just love that aspect of cottage living. I think it's just so sweet. I think the bunnies and the birds are just so cute, and that they help you garden is so cute. Anyways, I also did place a bird feeder in the front, kind of in the front of the garden. I do end up moving it when I playtested this build. With that being said, I did playtest this build. Everything is fully functional. I did run into a few things. One of them being, do you see like the clutter pack of like the flowers and like kind of like the paper that I placed on the flower arranging uh desk thing? Um, I had to move those. They made it so it wasn't functional. So I moved them over to this little table right here. And they didn't quite fit how I wanted to, but I was just imagining that like in like the top cutout area there's like holes for the garden planters. It will make sense if you like see the build. But anyways, I'm just going in cluttering up this build, trying to get everything to make it really cute and cluttered, and I did try my best to use in-game clutter. So there was kind of a quick cut right there. I did go through like the debug menu and the live edit menu. And if you're not sure how to access those, you just type in bb.move no bb.show hidden objects. I will put them on the screen because I am not exactly sure. I use the Better Build Buy mod by Twisted Mexi, and I just have them automatically on. If you don't have the tool mod and Better Build by Twisted Mexi, you are missing out because those mods are like so critical in my game. Like, I cannot build without them. But as you can see, I added in a clothesline, and then I added in a little beast box back in the garden, and I do have some swings out there right now, but I do get rid of those and add it for a chicken coop. But we are now inside. I'm just working on the entryway. I added in a little table, the thermostat, a coat rack, and yeah, wanted to go for like a darker wood vibe in this house. Just to make it like that super cozy rustic feel. Um, but yeah, I'm just cluttering up this table, and that fox lamp is so cute. I absolutely loved it. But as you can see, I am trying to clutter mostly with in-game items. Um, I would say the CC that I used was mostly for like the garden shed and like the wallpaper and the flooring and the stairs, I believe. And like the outside. I used a lot of the CC on the outside, like the paneling on the outside of the house, the windows, the doors, that's all CC. But a lot of the stuff on the inside, that is all in-game items. And if you're curious what packs I did use in this build, I will put all of the packs that I used in the description box. So if you're curious, you can just go take a look. But yes, I placed this couch. It's a CC couch, and I really wanted it to be like diagonally, and I got it to where I wanted it, and then I looked and I was like, that looks very silly. So I just lined it up straight, and yeah, I think it looks a lot better. Oh, I did want to mention, I completely forgot. There is, I would say, I think there's like two cats in this household. I feel like the grandma would have two cats. um, I think, before her grandkids came and lived with her, she was a little lonely because, unfortunately her husband did pass away. So she has this big old house and a big farm all to herself, and she was definitely lonely. So she decided to adopt some kitties. And yeah, we are just now trying to clutter up the like coffee table in the living room. And if you were wondering what I just did right there, that is like a little build hack that I learned not recently, but I've used it quite a lot, but it's one of the first times I showed it in a video. So, what you do is you place the lamps like at the four corners of the table, and then you move the table and then you clutter it up, just, holding the alt and moving them to where they would want to be. But the lamps kind of just give you a guideline of where the table originally was. But we are officially moving on into the kitchen, and I want to say those cabinets and counters. Sorry, I couldn't remember what they were called. Anyways, the counters and cabinets are from base game, I believe. And I think that they're so beautiful. They look like they're CC. I love the like texture, I guess you would say, of them. I don't know, they just look so beautiful. I love the color. I just love them. Anyways, I'm just going in, cluttering up the kitchen. Um, yeah, I really wanted to put this basket on the um counter, but I couldn't figure out like how I wanted to do it. And then I decided I'm just gonna size it down. It's not like they're gonna be able to reach it and actually use it, so I just sized it down. Um, but yeah, everything in the kitchen is fully functional. I tested out the sink, the fridge, and the stove. Everything is completely functional. And I tested out all four of those seats, but literally I placed tested everything in this house. Like absolutely everything. Anything you can think of, it's been play tested. And before I uploaded this house up to Patreon, I made sure that everything was playable. And I did want to mention all of the like plants or like crops and stuff, they're all planted and ready for your sim to get them, like, I guess, collect them so you guys can sell them. And yeah, I did go ahead and change out a window that was in the kitchen. It wasn't looking how I wanted it to look, and the curtains weren't sitting how I wanted them to whoa. They weren't quite sitting how I wanted them to. So I go ahead and change them out. And we're now moving on into the bathroom. And I did kind of want to just mention that this is the bathroom that has the shower in it. And I know it's kind of impractical to have the bathroom with the shower downstairs because you would think since all of the bedrooms are upstairs, the shower would be upstairs. But the bathroom upstairs, which I did cut out, um, it was just teeny tiny. So it just has a sink and a toilet, and that is it because it's tiny. There are pictures of it in the screenshots at the end of this video. And then while I was building, I kind of forgot that I was like, oh yeah, I wanted a cat in this build. So while I was playtesting, I go ahead and I remove that laundry basket and replace it with I don't think I got rid of it. I might have gotten rid of it and replaced it with another one, but um I placed down a litter box. But going in, we are now upstairs and I am working on kind of like this is like an open laundry room, I guess you could call it. I just had this little square in like the hallway upstairs and I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with it. But since I placed that clothesline outside, I was like, we should probably have some laundry in here. So I went ahead and I placed the washing machine and the dryer because sometimes Henford on Bagley has thunderstorms and stuff. It just depends if you have those in your game, but it's definitely going to rain if you have seasons. So I decided to just add that dryer just in case. And then while building this teenager's room, I kind of was going for like a dark wood and maybe some like black while I was like the main like fixtures of the building. So like the dresser, the mirror, the bed, the nightstand. And I do originally come in with this, oh my goodness, desk. And I looked at it and I was like, yeah, no, that's way too crowded in that room. So I decided to go and change it out for just that one tile one. And I clutter up the nightstand and I add some cute little decals in the teens room. And that's about it for the teen room. I wasn't quite sure. Oh, yes, I forgot. I used that and added the tool mod. Now we are on to the grandmother's room. I'm so sorry. But we are now on to the grandmother's room, and I kind of wanted it to go for like just like a sweet, homey vibe. Kind of like elegant, I guess you would say, because I feel like the grandma's very sweet and but like I've mentioned before, I do like my builds to be a little bit more elegant, so yeah. um, I wanted to mention I added carpet into the bedrooms. I don't know if you guys use carpet in your guys' builds, but I rarely, and let me tell you, I rarely use carpet in my builds. But I really liked the look of how it looked, and I thought it was a lot more homey. Like, if I were to go to my grandma's house, there would be carpet on the floor rather than hardwood. And I just felt it was so realistic and homey and sweet. So I decided to go with that. But as you can see, as I was saying earlier, for the infant's room, it's not quite decorated for like a specific gender. So you could choose whatever gender you would like in that room. But I'm about to finish off this build. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you like this content. And thank you guys so much for watching. All right. I appreciate you so much. Bye, guys.